Ah, Spam. We've all heard of it, not many have had it. Also known as luncheon meat. Look, I'm a fan of it, but can we make a gourmet version? Yeah. I try not to ask the question of should we make that, but I did ask the question of can we?
And the answer is always yes.
So we're here today to make the one and only Spam. Look, this isn't just some canned meat. Grotesque as that sounds. Give me a little canned meat.
But
what I want people to know is Spam is near and dear, not only to my heart, but many chefs and many cultures around the world for a good reason. It's actually pretty good. I don't really have that much of a quarrel with it, and I know it seems weird because I tend to have a very opinionated viewpoint on many things, and my opinionated view on this is it's good. What the hell you want me to freaking say? So with all that being said, let's make this, shall we?
We're at Target. We have Spam to pick up. There's not much to say about Target. It's a 4 out of 10 on everything. There's no menu. It's a grocery store. Let's go. Here it is. I can't believe that they're putting it all the way in the corner.
no one puts baby in the corner.
We found the Spam. It was in the pickles and olives. Don't know why. I haven't had coffee yet, so I'm just gonna go. We've got the can. I like Spam. I've been pretty vocal about it. Not only that, we've had Spam as a partner, but we had to do this. There she is. We're gonna go slice and sear this. Be right back. We got a seared piece of Spam. Here's the thing, this goes with almost anything. In most cases, it's a little too salty. Could it have more flavor? Potentially, but I like Spam. Can we defeat it? We're gonna try.
Wow, some might think, is this even possible? Listen, everything and anything is possible. It should never be a matter of can we or should we. Instead, you should ask yourself, will I? Now, first we grind our meat. You can hypothetically grind this in a food processor, but it's gonna take you a really long time. But Papa has a new meat grinder. So it's time to show it off and see what this baby can do. First, you're gonna need an exact mix of the following. 3 pounds or 1.3 kilograms of boneless pork Boston butt, and 1.5 pounds or 680 grams of a nice smoked ham, which I'd recommend getting 1 to 2 big, thick slices from the deli so you can cut it more easily. A 1/3 pound or 150 grams of prosciutto de Parma. Sliced or unsliced, doesn't matter. And finally, 1 pound or 450 grams of pork fat back. Now you're gonna cut these into pieces that are obviously gonna fit in your meat grinder, but another great way to save time is instead to cut the big pieces of meat into just a few long strips. So there's less tiny pieces you need to pump down there, which means less movement per grind, which equals faster grinding. Anyway, grind all those 4 through your meat grinder, and once it's all ground up, take it out and run it through to grind one more time until it gets ultra fine. Need all of your ground meat aggressively. I mean, get your hand all up in there. And once the meat is tacky and emulsified, about 1 minute of kneading, get a medium-sized bowl and add 40 grams or 3 to 4 tablespoons of kosher salt, 1.5 tablespoons or 23 grams of granulated sugar, 2 tablespoons or 12 grams of nutritional yeast that's been ground a little bit finer to sort of a powder consistency, 2.5 tablespoons or 28 grams of potato starch, and 1.5 tablespoons or 13 grams of cornstarch, half a teaspoon or 1 gram of bay leaf powder. Yep, literally bay leaves blended into a fine powder. 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of prog powder number 1. Full pause. Listen, this stuff is powerful. So please, please, please do not use more than what is listed here. It's important, just saying. Now whisk all that together, then whisk in half a cup or 120 milliliters of ice cold water until fully combined. Pour that mixture into your ground meat and knead together until fully incorporated and looking lovely. Now, divide your ground meat into 2 9x5 loaf pans. Try not to fill it more than about 80% of the way to the top. As a note, you're gonna need 3 loaf pans. 2 for the meat, 1 for the pressing, okay? Press your meat firmly into that bad little pan. Make sure it's nice and tight in there. It really does need to be edge to edge, no air pockets. Flatten the top, and you can go one of 2 ways when it comes to cooking this, either steam bath in the oven or sous vide. Now, I will say that sous vide is gonna give you the best results by far with much less cleanup. Anyway, for the sous vide method, simply get yourself a sous vide bag, cut it to the right size in order to fit a whole loaf pan in it. Seal one of the sides of your bag so it's closed on one end. Gently slide in your pan, push it all the way back to that sealed end. Pop it under your vacuum sealer and seal it as tightly as you can, making sure the bag gets full contact with the meat. Should look like this. Repeat with the other bread pan and then set it into a large sous vide water bath set to 175 Fahrenheit. In terms of the vessel for this, you can use a 12-quart Canberra like this. You could use a sink, a cooler. Drop in your vacuum sealed bread pans and cook for 2 hours. Then remove from the sous vide bath, place another equally sized bread pan on top and weigh it down with something heavy, like cans or just this big ass water jug. Refrigerate it overnight to press and set, and you're gonna do that with the other bread pans. Now, if you wanna go to the steam bath method, you'll instead get a large baking dish or deep hotel pan like this. Pour in enough boiling water to create a 1-inch hot bath, then add your meat-filled bread pan or pans. Lightly cover the entire thing with foil and place it into the oven that's been preheated at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for 45 to 60 minutes, then remove it and press it in the same way that you did with the sous vide one. Now, once your Spam has chilled overnight in the fridge, carefully pop it out, whittle a spatula around to help loosen it. Pop it out. We gotta see the inside, so give it a little slice. And I gotta say, that looks like a goddamn Spam if I ever seen one. But does it sear properly? Well, get yourself a medium-sized pan, set over medium-high. You can add a light coating of oil to the pan if you want. And once screaming hot, as many slices as you want without overcrowding, sear for 2 to 3 minutes, flip, and look at that beauty. That looks right. Sear for an additional 1 to 2 minutes, and it's done. I mean, it really crisps up the same as a normal Spam does. But how does it compete? This is a tough one. I love Spam, so I don't know how I can choose between the two. Let's taste test and find out.
We got Spam. Oh, this came out so good. This is a clear win. I'm a fan of Spam. This to me has like the texture of like a hot dog, very fine and sort of spongy. This one's like the ribeye steak version of a hamburger. This is a win, but we can't say that without a taste tester, someone who loves Spam as well. How are you doing, my cub?
Doing great, Papa Bear.
All right, Pano, it's time. Open up, sweetheart. Choo choo.
Alrighty.
Number 2.
I'd say I prefer number 1.
We won again.
Yeah, that one was just on another level. I could taste, like, really taste the pork. Also the crispiness of it, it crisped up a little bit better. I like Spam though, and so I think this would go really well on like white rice and egg and stuff.
So we love Spam and we got the dub, but we're not stopping there. So let's double down.
Okay, so how do you use this? Well, anyway, you'd use Spam. Since this Spam sort of feels like my son, I wanted to make it a star, just like bacon, say in a BLT. I guess we could call this one an SLT. Oh, that acronym does not read well. We'll call it a Spam LT. I made a real quick Aleppo mayo, which consists of half a cup or 110 grams of mayonnaise, 3 cloves of garlic grated, 1.5 teaspoons or 2.5 grams of Aleppo pepper, salt and pepper to taste. Whisk that bad boy together, and well, that's it. Next, you'll need a nice loaf of bread, ideally a nice sourdough, crusty loaf. And I made this loaf myself, not to flex or anything. Homemade bread, homemade Spam. Come on now. Anyway, slice your bread up as thick or thin as you like. Toast that bad boy with butter in a pan on medium heat on both sides until roasty toasty beautiful, but the inside's moister than an oyster. Slice a fatty heirloom tomato about a ½ inch thick and always hit it with some salt to taste. Not getting into it right now. Sauce your bottom slice of bread generously with your mayo, followed by your tomato, some fresh butter lettuce, and of course, 2 to 3 slices of seared homemade Spam. Now, sauce the top piece of your toasted bread. Place that south side down onto your Spam to crown a beautiful king that might just knock the good old BLT off the block. Let's find out.
Oh! This is, wow. This is the perfect sandwich. Not only is the bread so light and crunchy and crispy and nice, but you have this salty, fatty pork that has the perfect ratio of meat to fat. It's meaty, it's unctuous, it's got umami. This is like top 3 sandwiches we've ever made on the channel, period. There's beauty in simplicity, but you wanna know what else is beautiful and simple? B-roll.